Happy Halloween and NFL trade deadline day. If you want the Bengals to ignore their previous history and make a deal today, then like the video right now. We have the data to prove it. The more likely the Bengals are to make a trade is directly correlated to how many likes we get on today's video. So like it right now. Let's hit some of the top trade targets here for the Bengals, who've all been linked in various rumors. Let's go back to the Samaje Perine trade. I'm not giving up on this idea. I think it makes even more sense with Chris Evans now Chase Brown heading to IR for at least 3 more games. The Broncos are still sellers, maybe not as big as they were, but Perine's RB3. It's Javonte Williams. It's Jaleel McLaughlin. Then it's Samaje Perine. He has not been the impact piece Denver had previously hoped for. And the Bengals have not replaced Perine themselves. They have not found that third down back we spent so much time focusing on, discussing, at this year's camp and the preseason. Is it Travion Williams? Is it Chris Evans? Is it Chase Brown? The role that doesn't really exist right now. It's Travion kind of, sort of, but not like he's doing a lot with it at the moment. And Joe Mixon, I think his workload's too high. I'm worried about him being able to stay fully healthy at his age and his workload. I would love to find some depth. And I think Samaje Perine can absolutely be that guy for Cincinnati. He has not been that great this year in Denver. That's okay. We know exactly what he can do in this offense. If you traded for Samaje Perine today, he could play for you on Sunday. There'd be no waiting. There'd be no I need to learn the offense. Nope, he knows it. He's good to go. He is a perfectly logical fit for this Bengals team as currently constructed. It costs you a pick swap, a 7th, a 6th, if that, for a 1-year rental. That's fine. Now, will the Bengals actually do it? I don't know. Historically speaking, probably not. It's not how they typically tend to operate from that perspective. But I think it's worth trying, and I'm going to keep pushing for it and try to speak it into existence. So prediction time. Will the Bengals make a trade today? Y for yes, N for no. We saw, just like last year, 1 trade on Monday. We saw 11 or 10, one of the two, last year. We get some more action today. We'll find out. Go vote the pinned comment. Y for yes, N for no. Another ex-Bengal on today's show. This has been mentioned by USA Today and others. I think it's worth discussing again. CJ Uzomah. He's due $3.5 million total. So you would owe the pro-rated figure. That amounts to about half. So 1.75-ish, somewhere in that range at this stage for CJ Uzomah. It's around half. I will make note, we're past the deadline to restructure deals, so Jets can't eat any of that money. Not how it works anymore. We're past that deadline here. He has not been good in New York. He had a good 2021 campaign, almost 500 yards, and I think that's all the Bengals need at tight end right now, is that 400 yards on a 16-game season average, 17-game season average, is all they need right now. Uzomah's tight end too, but the Jets have Jeremy Ruckert. They're playing Tyler Conklin. They could get a 6th, 7th round pick for him. That's something. Frees up playing time for others. He's done nothing in New York, and he still almost has as many yards as Irv Smith does this season. It's been a dumpster fire. The buy low tentative, I get it. It makes sense. Do it. They should have drafted somebody. They missed that. They messed that up. That was a mistake. 10 catches, 57 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 fumble, 2 drops. That's not going to cut it. You need your tight end, even in this offense with Chase and Higgins and Boyd and Mixon, etc. You will need your tight end 3 or 4 plays a game. If one of those 4 plays is a drop or a fumble, what's he doing out there? If the Bengals are serious about winning a championship, they will find a new tight end. I don't know if they're going to, but they need to go find one. Uzomah, other names we'll get to, whatever. Some cheap guys out there. There really are. Go do it. Now, today's show was made possible by Prize Picks, the largest independently owned DFS platform in North America. It's simple. You pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections, then watch the winnings roll in. You're not playing the pros, the sharks, and the sharps, and everything else out there, and thousands of other players, and you got to get, everything perfect to, finish in the top 2% or whatever. No. Much easier on Prize Picks. You can also mix and match NFL, college football. They've also got esports. If, like producer Jack, you are into that. Not really my thing. Here are my picks this week. Joe Burrow at 265.5 passing yards. Seems like easy money for me. Isaiah Pacheco against a bad Dolphins run defense, over 15.5 yards on the ground, or more than 15.5 yards on the ground. CeeDee Lamb, more than 75.5 yards against an Eagles secondary. It's not been that great so far this season. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Link will be in the comments and in the description. Again, it's prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for the first deposit match up to $100. Let's talk more tight ends here. I'm going to put two names on this list together. Hunter Henry and Mike Gesicki. I think both Patriots tight ends are logical trade considerations here for Cincinnati. Now, I've been some conflicting info if they're interested or not. They're probably not that interested in Hunter Henry in particular. Gesicki's money makes some more sense there. Patriots as sellers stands out as like, yep, that makes sense. And both dudes vastly more impactful than what you've seen so far this year out of Irv Smith, etc. in the Bengals tight end room. Gesicki only has 160 yards and a TD, but that's better. He's not a great blocker, but he's a good athlete. Hunter Henry's a better blocker. The money matters here. Again, the prorated figure, so $1 million-ish for Mike Gesicki and 6-ish, 5.5-ish for Hunter Henry. Probably too much on Henry's side, but he's better. Maybe that makes it more worthwhile. So pick one to trade for. If you wanted to get one of these Patriots tight ends into Cincinnati, who would it be? HH for Hunter Henry, MG for Mike Gesicki. Give me either. I can't do the Irv Smith experiment anymore. I really can't. It's just not working. They tried to feature him against the Niners, and that fumble damn near cost them the football game. You need more than Irv Smith and a good blocker in Drew Sample. He's a blocker. That's what he is. He's not a viable threat. No one's scared of Drew Sample. Tanner Hudson, Mitchell Wilcox. Come on. It's the worst tight end room in the NFL right now. I'm sorry. Go get a piece today. Make it make sense, Cincinnati. Care. Be more aggressive. Keep making the changes into things that make sense to win championships. Now, if the Bengals make a move, we will break it down for you guys. I doubt one happens, unfortunately, but we'll have more videos throughout the week still. We'll still keep you guys covered with what's going on around Cincinnati. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/BengalsTV. We will do, later this week, free agent targets for the Bengals after the NFL trade deadline. Let's go to a running back. How about Dalvin Cook? He appears to be very unhappy in New York at the moment. He's not getting many touches, and he's not doing anything with them either, which we'll get to. The Bengals were initially linked to Cook when the Vikings cut him, and the Jets paid him $7 million to come to New York plus incentives. The team would owe the pro figure, so let's say $3.5 million and change. It is no longer Dalvin Cook. It is Dalvin Cooked. I'm sorry. He's not that good anymore. He has not been an impactful piece in any sense. We kind of mentioned like, hey, if you get it for $3 million, okay, that's fine. That's affordable, but that was for the entire season, not for half season, by the way. He's averaging 2.8 yards per carry. By the way, Breece Hall, to put it in perspective, who is, of course, still out there, is averaging 5.7. So we're talking damn near double. Like we're talking about a very different type of player. Or actually over double, excuse me. One guy looks great behind the same offensive line. One guy looks bad. He's Dalvin Cooked. He's not doing anything. I have no desire to acquire Dalvin Cook. The Jets will not need all the money. It is what it is. Michael Carter actually intrigues me more in New York than Dalvin Cook does at this stage. So name a player who you want to trade for. Sound off in the comment section right now, who do you want to get into Cincinnati at this year's NFL trade deadline? Before we go, two of the biggest names who may or may not end up available on the open market. Davante Adams. He was again unhappy against. Did you guys watch Monday Night Football? Oh my goodness. That was a dumpster fire. Like, they couldn't. He was wide open several times, and Jimmy G missed him. If I were Adams, I would demand a trade. Bengals don't make that much sense with Higgins and Chase and Boyd, but if I were him, I would demand a trade. Meanwhile, Jaylon Johnson has demanded a trade. Again, you have Cam Taylor-Britt. I'm a big fan of DJ Turner, Chidobe Awuzie, so doubt he's a fit, but this is the biggest name on the block. Keep an eye on Pittsburgh being in the mix for Jaylon Johnson.